Hi, hello, how are you? If you love Halloween and spooky season and fall, you should definitely hang around and subscribe because I still have quite a bit to share with you guys and post, as well as you should go check out my Instagram for some more content, especially spooky fall and Halloween. Now, with that being said, let's get into this crochet tutorial. So to start, I'll just be using some acrylic yarn. I have black and white. You can definitely make this with whatever colors you want. If you want to make him like neon, that would be so cute and really fun. You are more than welcome to do this. This is your crochet project, so be as creative as you like. I'm personally going very basic with black and white because there is nothing wrong with basic. Next are other tools. You'll need a stitch marker. You'll definitely need one of these, a yarn needle or crochet needle. I don't know like the proper name for it. As well as, I don't have the right hook. I thought this was the right hook sitting over here. I'm gonna use a 5mm hook. This is a 6. Not using this. Actually, I might use a 4.5, to be determined once I start. I'm going to start with the head because when I have never made something before, I find it easier personally to start with the head, just because it kind of gives like a good size. I feel like I have a somewhat easier time sizing to the head than trying to size a head to the body, if that makes sense. But yeah, so we are going to start with the head. You can either do your magic ring, or if you're like me and are physically incapable of doing a magic ring, do a starting chain of 4. Oop, yep, that's 4. Let me make sure I can count first. Pull your yarn all the way through to create a loop here. Then we're going to go into the center stitch, pull our yarn through, then go into the center stitch, pull our yarn through again. So that's 2. Let's also move this tail out of the way. 3. That's the one thing about tail, is it's always in the way. And we're gonna do this 6 times. Let me just save ourselves some suffering from, now I got it, from trying to watch me do this. 5 and 6. Then we're going to go into the first stitch. We're going to go into the first stitch. I had to get my stitch marker. And we're gonna mark our first stitch. And then we're gonna do a second stitch into the first stitch. Oops, gotta pull my yarn all the way through and not just a piece. We're gonna put 2 stitches in every stitch. So 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, let me try that again. This yarn's fighting me today. 9, 10, still fighting me. 11, 12. Now, how many times we're gonna do our expanding rounds is really gonna depend on how wide we want. I might only do 1 more because I want this to literally be like a little palm size friend. So for the next round, I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and I'm going to do my first stitch into that one, put my stitch marker back, and then do a second stitch back into the same. So once again, we did 2 stitches into 1, but then the next stitch we're only going to do 1. Then we're going to go 2 stitches into the next, so I go in there and then go right back into the same one, then a single stitch, and then I'm going to go all the way around just like that. For the next round, I'm going to take my stitch marker out, and I am using a 4.5mm hook. I don't think I properly said that. Going to do first stitch in, mark it, and then second stitch into the same stitch. Then this time will be 1 single stitch, then 2 single stitches, then 2 into the next, and then 1, then 2. And I'm gonna go all the way around back to the start. Now this round will be my last round of expanding because I do want to give enough room for when we're adding a face to add a face. Sometimes I feel like when you make it too small, the face can almost be like blurry. That's not the right word, but especially embroidering a face on, I just want to give myself enough room. I make a lot more large plush, so making something small, I still want to make sure I give myself enough room while I'm practicing smaller, if that makes sense. So we're going to put a stitch into the first, and we're going to keep with what we have been doing. So go back into that one, do another stitch, then we'll go 1, 2, 3, then a double stitch. So go back into the same one, then 1, 2, 3, then back into the same, then go into this one twice, all the way around. Now you can see it's kind of open, so if you're worried about that, I would also go down to a size 4. Now this is a thinner yarn, so if you have the thicker of the acrylic yarn, 4.5. If you have the thinner, I would probably use a 4. My cat is helping me crochet today. He is my crochet sidekick here. But anyways, I did go back and I switched over to a 4mm. I started my project over because I just felt like it was too open to be able to stuff it. I'm not very good at saying this at the beginning of my videos, but I do always include in my description like the size hooks and stuff I use. But anyways, I got back to the stitch we ended at, or like the round we ended at, and now I'm just going to do a single stitch in every stitch, so we're not expanding anymore. We're just going to stay the same, basically creating the area for the face. So I will count how many rounds I do, and I'll let you know after I've completed them. I did 5 rows, not expanding, just staying the same, or 5 rounds. Now we are going to decrease. So instead of putting 2 stitches into one, I'm going to go into the first stitch, then into the second stitch, have 3 loops on, then pull through, and that will be our first stitch. Since our last expanding round, we did 3 stitches, this time we're gonna do the same. We're gonna do 1, if I don't lose my yarn here, then 2, then 3, then put 2 stitches into one, then 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go all the way around. And like before, we are going to keep, that was my stitch marker to know how many rounds I did. Like before, we're going to keep going until we get down to nothing. So we'll go 3 single stitches in this one, then 2, then 1, and then we'll be closing it, and I'll come back to do. All right, so I'm almost done with the head. It is not stuffed yet, but I wanted to kind of get like a full shape so I could decide how to do the face. I know some people like to do the face after they stuff it and like complete the head. I like to do it before because I don't like when the stuffing pulls out while you weave it. But basically, let me puff it back up here, get the shape going, decide where I'm gonna put the mouth, which I think I want to do it like right about here. Just going to do a simple, kind of like scarecrow mouth, but it's going to be, I don't know, representative of, I guess, like, I feel like I'm gonna call him a little skeleton. He's a little spooky friend more than anything. Little, oh no, I'm tangled. There's kind of the mouth, and I'm just gonna kind of do this. Because like I said, I'll give him kind of like a scarecrow type mouth, where we have like stitches, or you could even view these if you want this to be like a little skeleton guy, almost as like showing his teeth. I'm gonna follow kind of the pattern that naturally forms. You can see I'm weaving through these like openings. Move that. And if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. As you can see, I missed one, and that's okay. Because that's the lovely thing about crochet and creation, is you can go back and do it, but I don't know. I kind of like that mist, kind of like the mist look. Now, I've been using safety eyes a lot, but when I first made plush, I did like embroider them, there's the word, which just for ease, I haven't been doing that, and I feel like I'm going to play around with embroidering his eyes here. I don't really know what I'm going to do. Definitely do the eyes however you want. You can do safety eyes, you can embroider them. I might redo it a couple times, play around with it, and come back. Here's the little face I decided on. Just very simple eyes. I just went through the same holes a few times to make them thicker. And yeah, you can make him smile, you can make him happy, you can make him have, you know, button eyes, whatever you please, whatever makes you happy, you do for the face. So I'm going to stuff it and close up the hole. To seal up our head here, going to close the end, and then I'm just going to weave back and forth between my stitches. So I'm going to go through one, back through the next one, and back through the next. This is also why acrylic yarn isn't my favorite. I don't like to see all the holes and everything. If you guys have a recommendation how to use acrylic yarn and kind of prevent that, please let me know. But anyways, once we weave through, ta-da, I also added a nose. I thought I'd give him a little more personality. I might touch up the face a little bit. I haven't decided. I might make him smile, give him a little more personality, and then I'm going to pull tight. I'm going to tie it off here. And I'm going to leave the string nice and long so I can attach his head to his body if I need to be, or if I need to use this. Now we're going to start the body the same way as the head. So to save ourselves some time here of watching, I will just go ahead and start out. I'm going to use my 4mm hook. Going to do 4 stitches, go into the back, create our magic ring, do 6, which for this I actually am going to use a stitch marker because black yarn is hard to see. But since we already did the start with the head, I'm not going to re-record every step. I will touch base after getting to the last expanded stitch with you guys, because we will expand a little bit more for the body. Black is always a hard color of yarn to show stitches, but I think I have pretty good lighting right now. So I did my last round for the body was 2 stitches in the first, 1, 2, 3, 2 stitches in the next. So we're going to keep expanding for one more round. We're going to do 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2 stitches in the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around. And then we'll stay the same, and I will touch back with you guys, letting you know how many rounds I did of staying the same, which by staying the same, I mean a single stitch in every stitch. All right, I just finished my last round of expanding, and now we will stay the same, single stitch. I always want to combine single and stitch into one word. Single stitch in every stitch all the way around for to be determined amount of rounds. This is definitely a part of the process, but I removed the face. I just did not like it. It wasn't for me. If you like it, you can definitely recreate it, but for me, it was not for me anyways. So I went 3 rounds of staying the same. The body is a little bit bigger at the bottom, as you can see, but I'm already going to reduce because I want it to, it's only going to be about this long, but I do want kind of like a bigger bottom and kind of come up slowly into a triangle up to the head where it kind of sits like nicely, give it a little shoulder. So I am going to do some I am going to reduce. I'm going to put 2 stitches into 1, then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I finished that round, and now we're gonna do 2 stitches in 1, 1, 2, 3, 2 stitches in 1, 1, 2, 3, to reduce a little bit more. After reducing for those 2 rounds, I'm now going to stay the same by putting a single stitch in every stitch, and it will be for a to be determined amount of rounds. I did 5 rounds of staying the same, and now I'm going to reduce again. Put 2 stitches into 1, and then go 1, 2, 3, 2 stitches into 1, 1, 2, 3, which was the last reduce one I did, but I'm going to do it again because I don't want to reduce too drastically too quickly, because I do want to do like 2, maybe 3 rounds of reducing. It just really depends on how it'll look. So we're gonna do 2 stitches in 1, 1, 2, 3, 2 stitches in 1, 1, 2, 3, all the way. For the next round, we'll reduce again, 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, 2 stitches into 1, 1, 2, all the way around. All right, so I am done expanding now. I'm done with the body. I am going to add detail, but first I'm going to adjust the face. I'm going to redo the face. I'm going to add detailing to the body, and then we're going to do the arms and legs. I switched his face to like a much simpler face. I'm not completely sold on it. I struggle with faces because I feel like the faces really make your crochet plush. And I don't know, sometimes I like really fight with like making the perfect face. But I am going to not fill up the body yet, but embroider the front. I am actually attaching the head just a little bit because I have so much extra yarn. I'm going to do the outline that's attached to the head, I should say. I'm going to do the outline of the little like rib cage before finishing attaching, because like I said, I have a lot. I have way more than I need. So I'm going to just do a simple straight line down and then 2 to 3 lines across to make a rib cage. It came out a little uneven just because of even though I measured out the like stitches and stuff and where I put it, just how I feel like that's just how crochet works. These all were the same size, and just pulling my yarn through looks like that, but he's still cute. So I stuffed his body. That's why there's little fuzzies all over it. I'll need to lint roll him, but now we're gonna make his little arms and legs. I do think I'm gonna go back through and fix his ribs, but not yet. I am trying to decide how specifically I might want to do it. I might do just like another stitch over top. We'll see. I am going to do the arms and legs slightly different. So this is one arm, and we're kind of going to do them a little like long and skinny. So we're going to do a starting chain of 10. After you do a starting chain of 10, we're going to do 4 rows of 9 stitches, 9 single stitches. Once you have done your 5 rows, you will you'll take the one side of your yarn, stitch it together so you have one kind of slightly rounded piece to be his arm, and then you will obviously do it a second time, or you don't have to. If you only want one arm, you can do one arm, but if you want 2 arms, you'll have to do it a second time. So you can have the 2. We're gonna do little short but wider legs here. So we're gonna do a magic ring. Once you have your little circle, we're going to do 6 stitches into the center. Once you do your 6 stitches into the center, you're going to do a double stitch in every stitch, so this round should have 12 stitches in total. And once you do your round of 12, we're going to do 3 more rounds of 12. So we're going to stay exactly the same, a single stitch in every stitch for 3 rounds. Once you attach the legs, you can either be done, or I think I'm going to add a couple extra details to him. I think my biggest thing I'm still working on is arm length. I think his leg length is very cute, but I always feel like I think his arms look a little short. I think they could have been like another half an inch longer, but I am going to add a little detail. I think I'm going to fix the rib cage, and I'll check back in and show you the fully finished. All right, and there he is. He is small. I ended up just adding like little white detailing to his arms to kind of make it look like bones. I still didn't fix this part, but I don't know. I kind of like when crochet is like a little imperfect. I think it makes it look special. The back side also has like the white bones. But yeah, I think he turned out kind of cute. I will be using this exact body style to be making a mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So if you're interested in that tutorial, you should definitely hang around because I think it will be here maybe next week, maybe this week, we shall see. But if you make this little guy or some version of him, you should definitely go follow my Instagram and send me a DM of a picture of him, or if you post it on your Instagram, tag me in it. I would love to see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoyed making this little guy. Bye!